F355 Challenge debuted in arcades in 1999, with deluxe models sporting 4 Naomi arcade boards and 3 monitors for the ultimate immersive experience. The game was ported to the Dreamcast a year later, and is surprisingly accurate. Like most Sega arcade racers, F355 Challenge features a limited car selection and just a handful of tracks. In this case, your only car is a Ferrari F355 Challenge model, and the 6 initial courses are all real-world racetracks. When you think arcade racer, you generally think over-the-top presentation, unrealistic physics, and easy playability. F355 Challenge is none of these things. Instead, producer Yu Suzuki went in a completely different direction and created a brutal simulation experience. F355 Challenge has a very high learning curve. If you are already familiar with the real-world circuits, you'll be halfway to success. But controlling the Ferrari 355 is tough and will take a couple of hours to get acclimated. I actually used to be into racing simulations on the PC, and even had a nice Logitech force feedback racing wheel, which is necessary for the genre. However, a high-quality force feedback wheel was never released for the Dreamcast, and F355 Challenge desperately needs one. The cheap wheels available for the system simply don't cut it, and using the Dreamcast controller is less than ideal. Leaving the stability control, traction control, and anti-lock brake driving aids on make the controller a bit more tolerable and returns playability back to the game. F355 also offers automatic braking for noobs, but this goes a bit too far for my tastes. F355 Challenge doesn't just want you to race, it wants you to master the game. Upon selecting a track, the game presents the option of training, which talks you through a lap, driving, which lets you practice on your own, and then finally race mode, which lets you race against 7 other Ferrari 355s. Yu Suzuki's goal of creating the ultimate F355 experience is well executed and fully realized. After learning the tracks, memorizing braking points, and mastering the controls, there is a ton of fun to be had here. Upon finishing a race in the top 3, you are rewarded with new tracks, which were exclusive to the Dreamcast version at the time. These unlockable tracks are only playable in the single-player mode, which is effectively arcade mode without the pressure of the timer. Finally, there is a championship mode. This takes you through the 6 arcade tracks, rewarding more points for higher finishes. Until you've mastered the 6 arcade courses, don't bother. Back in 2000, F355 Challenge was a gorgeous game. If you were a Sega fanboy, this game single-handedly assured you the Dreamcast could go toe-to-toe with the evil PlayStation 2 and come out victorious. In the year 2015, the game certainly shows its age. Still, F355 Challenge is very impressive. It moves along at a silky smooth 60 frames per second and never wavers. The Ferrari model looks okay, and the tracks feel realistic enough with decent road textures and nice background details. Despite being a hardcore racing game, there is a lot of Sega arcade flair here. The use of color is excellent, and everything has Sega's signature oversaturated feel. When the time of day switches to sunset, everything has a beautiful orange glow. Last but certainly not least is the soundtrack. Sega produced some awesome 80s metal tracks specifically for this game, and they are terrific. There is something about 80s rock that just screams drive, and it's captured perfectly here, helping take some of the edge off the brutal difficulty. Overall, F355 Challenge is an awesome game. Even 15 years later, the title is addicting enough to make me sit there for 60 straight minutes, racing on Suzuka Short, attempting to finally nab a first place finish. There are few games in this world good enough to make me sit there and repeat the same thing for such a length of time. It's a testament to how well Yu Suzuki achieved his goal. F355 Challenge isn't a traditional arcade game and shouldn't be treated as such. Instead, it's an experience. The game takes you on a journey, and at the end of that journey, you'll have mastered an awesome car on some of the world's greatest racetracks. It's not for everyone, but it is excellent. 4 out of 5.
Congratulations!